Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we will go ahead and start a new topic that is object-oriented programming, also known as OOP. Some people also call it as OOPS, that is Oops, it is one and the same. Till now, we have studied Java basics, but from today onwards, we will start object-oriented programming, which is one of the most important topics with respect to Java. And 90% of the Java language is dependent on object-oriented programming. So it is one of the most important topics. Let's get started. Let's see the first point. First point is Java is an almost object-oriented programming language. So why it is almost object-oriented programming language? Why not completely object-oriented programming language? That's because it has primitives, which we have seen in our previous videos. Primitives like int, short, long, byte, boolean, float, double, char. So these primitives are present, which are not objects. So that's why Java is not complete object-oriented programming language. It is an almost object-oriented programming language. Let's see second point. So what is object-oriented programming? It is about creating objects that contain data and methods. So what are data and methods that we will see later in the video. Let's move forward. So we will see few advantages of object-oriented programming. First is modularity. Modularity means we can create smaller manageable objects which will enhance code readability. So instead of writing all your code at one place, making it complex to read, we can create smaller manageable objects which will help in enhancing code readability and maintainability. Next point is reusability. It promotes code reusability through inheritance, reducing code duplication. So by using objects, we can reuse the same code and reduce code duplication. Let's see next advantage, that is encapsulation. Encapsulation means protecting data from unintended modification and enhancing security. So you can prevent your data from unintended modification, thus enhancing security of your code. Let's see another advantage. Another advantage is abstraction. So if we want to expose only the feature, not the implementation. So let's take a real life example. Let's consider a mobile phone. In mobile phone, the user is only aware about the features of the mobile phone. For example, calling a person, using social media apps, sending messages on chat apps. User is only aware about the features. He is not aware about the internal implementation, how the call is happening, how the message is getting sent internally. So those things are not exposed to users. So that is an example of abstraction. If we want the user to focus on only the essential features, and you don't want to expose the internal implementation, object-oriented programming offers this feature as well. Let's see next advantage, inheritance. Allows new classes to inherit properties and behaviors from existing ones, promoting code reuse. What are classes, what are objects, we will see later in the lecture. Inheritance is similar to you inheriting some properties or behaviors from your parents. For example, you can inherit your parents' facial features or physical traits or personality. You can also inherit money from your parents, inherit their property. Similar to that, in coding as well, if there is some existing logic, you can inherit that logic and avoid writing the logic again. So thereby promoting code reuse. Let's see next advantage, polymorphism. It permits object to exhibit many forms of behavior depending on the context. One object can behave in different ways depending upon the context. What it means. For example, if we consider real life, same person can have different roles. If he is at home, he can be a father, he can be a brother. If he is at work, he is an employee or he is a mentor to some people. So depending upon where he is, he can have different forms. Similar to that, object can have multiple forms depending on the context. So each of these properties or advantages we will see in detail. So this is just a high level overview of the advantages. We will see in detail what these advantages actually mean. So we have seen object oriented programming and its advantages. Let's move forward. Now let's see the basic unit of object oriented programming, that is classes and object. So what is a class and what is an object? Class is a template blueprint to create object having properties and behavior. So what is a class? It is kind of a template or a blueprint which is used to make an object. And what is an object? An object is an instance of class. So what does it mean? Let's understand this with the help of an image. So here we can see an image where we can see this die which acts as a template or a blueprint, and this die can be considered as a class. And using this template or blueprint, we can create n number of objects. Any number of objects we want, we can create using this blueprint. Similar to that, class is a blueprint, and using this class, you can create any number of object you want. So here you can see using this die, we can create any number of bottles we want. So this die acts as a class and this bottle act as an object. I hope it is clear. Let's move forward. Some more examples of classes and object. So we can see this is kind of a plan, and using this plan we can create a house. So this blueprint or plan can be considered as a class, and this actual house which we created using this blueprint can be considered as object. Let's see one more example. So this design is a blueprint for this car, and using this blueprint we can create an actual object. So these blueprint or template can be considered as classes, and the things created using this blueprint can be considered as object. So I hope it is quite clear what are classes and what are objects. Now we have seen what are classes and what are objects, and we know for creating object we need class. So let's see what are different components inside a class. So let's forget classes for a moment. If we consider any application or any software, the two most important component of that application or software is storing users data. If user is providing any data, we should be able to store that data. And the second important component is processing the data. We must be able to process the data by applying some logic. So the two important components are storing the data and processing the data using some logic. Logic is nothing but the code you write. Similar to that, we have components inside classes. So the first component is variables, which is also known as data members, attributes, fields, properties. So these are different names for variables, and it is used to store data or information. Second component is method. It is also known as functions. It is used to define the behavior of the object, that is used to write the actual code implementation or logic. So variables are used to store data, methods are used to write business logic or your actual code implementation. And the third component is constructor. Now what is a constructor? It is a special method used to initialize object when they are created. So we have a class, how we can create object from that class. For creating the object, we need constructor. So the name itself is self-explanatory. It is a constructor. It is used for constructing objects. If you want to create object using a class, you can make use of constructor. It is also a kind of a method, but it is a special method used to initialize object when they are created. Now they always have the same name as the class name and does not have a return type. So how to differentiate between a constructor and a method? So constructor will always have same name as the class name. So what it means we will see in the next slide. So let's see the actual class structure. We will take the same example of bottle die and we will try to create a class for this. So how to create class we have already seen in all our previous videos. We have to write public class bottle. Bottle is the name of the class. Now we need to define its variables. So variables are nothing but used to store data. So here we can see there are four variables. First one is int id. It will store bottle id. First bottle will have id 1, second bottle will have id 2, third bottle will have id 3, and so on. Second property is string type. It will store what kind of bottle will be created from this class. For example, it can be water bottle, it can be oil bottle, it can be soft drink bottle. So we can store what type of bottle is getting created. Then third property is capacity in liters. It will store the capacity of the bottle in liters. And fourth property is material. What is the material of the bottle? So it can be plastic, it can be glass that we can store. So these are called variables or data members. They will be used to store data. Yeah, so they are variables. Now let's see methods. So these are methods. As I said, it will be used to write the logic. So we have two methods, public void fill and public void empty. What is the meaning of this public void we will see later in the upcoming videos. Fill is the name of the method. If we call this method, it will print filling the bottle. And similarly, we have another method empty. If we call this method, it will print draining the bottle. As of now, we are just printing the statements. This can be considered as our logic as of now. These are nothing but methods. And third component is constructor. We have seen. So the difference between method and constructor is constructor will have its name similar to that of class. So you can see the name of the constructor is same as the name of the class. Using this constructor, we can create objects. So this is the simple structure of class, and using this class, we can create objects. So let's open our IntelliJ IDEA, and there we will see how we can create actual object using this class. I have opened my IntelliJ IDEA. I will go ahead and create a new class. I will try to replicate this class, this bottle class. So I will name the class as bottle. So my class is created. Now I will try to create variable similar to this. So the first variable is int id. So I will write int id. This is my first variable. Second variable is string type. Let me write bottle type. Third variable is capacity in liters. Capacity in liters. And final variable is material. So string material. So I have created all my data members or properties. Now let's go ahead and create this constructor. So constructor is public. I will copy the same name as the class name, opening braces, closing braces, and my constructor is ready. Now let's go ahead and create this method. So first method is public void fill, and it has logic filling the bottle. And second method is public void empty, and it has logic draining the bottle. So my class is ready. We have created the bottle class. Using this bottle class, we can create bottle objects. So how we can create bottle objects? Let's see. For that, first we have to create a main method. Why main method? As we all know, for running this program, we always have to start with main method. So this is the entry point. JVM will look for this entry point. JVM means Java will look for this main method, and it will execute anything inside this main method. So if we want to create object, we can go ahead and create inside this main method. So how we can create the object? We want to create object for this class. So for creating object, first you have to write the type of the object. So the type of the object will be bottle. Now the name of the variable. So name will be, I want to keep name as b, equal to new. So what is the use of this new? New means you want to create a new instance of this class. That is, you want to create a new object. So we have to use this new keyword. And again, you have to call the constructor. As I said, constructors are used to create the objects. So we are calling the constructor after writing this new, we are calling the constructor. So you can see this is getting called. If I remove it, you can see no usages. But when I write it, you can see one usage. This constructor is getting called here while object creation. So we have successfully created one instance of this class, that is one object of this class. Now suppose I want to create one more instance. So what I can do, I can write the code again, copy paste, just change the variable. So this can be B1 and this is B2. So I have created two objects of class bottle. So these are two instances of bottle. So this is how you can create any number of objects you want from this class. So this class acts as a blueprint, and these objects are the actual objects which are created using this class. Now let's comment the second one. I have one instance of this bottle class. Now what will be the value of these variables? We have created the object. Now using this object, we can check what is the value of these variables. To check the values, I can simply print the values b1. Using the variable name, I can print id. So let's print the values and see what is the values of these variables. As you can see, we have not provided any values to this variable. So by default, what will be the values of this variable? As we know, by default value for integer type is 0. For string, it will be null. And for capacity in liters, again, it is an integer, so it will be 0. And again, there is a string, sorry, so it will be null. So if I run this code, I will get its default values. Let's print it. So here you can see ID is 0, bottle type is null, capacity in liters is 0, material is null. So if I want, I can override these values. So let's keep ID as 1, B1 dot bottle type. Let's keep it water bottle, B1 dot capacity in liters. Let's keep it 2 liter bottle. And final material, let's keep it plastic. So now we have provided some values to these variables. Now if I print, I can see ID is 1, bottle type is water bottle, capacity in liters is 2 liter, material is plastic. So this is how you can store values in variables. Now how to use these methods? Using this bottle variable b1, you can call, so I want to fill the bottle, so I have called b1.fill. Now let's run this code filling the bottle, and it has printed bottle details. Suppose I want to empty the bottle, how I can call it? I can just replace it empty. Let's run this again, draining the bottle. So this is how you can create object and you can make use of variables for assigning values, and you can run the corresponding methods as well. So I hope it is clear. And you can also create any number of object instances you want using the class. Now suppose I want to create another bottle instance, I can simply copy this whole code and I can paste it again. I just need to change this variable to b2, and this also I need to change to b2, and this time I will keep the ID as 2. It will be cola bottle. Capacity, suppose it is 5 liters, and material glass. I am putting random values, and let's remove this b1.fill, and I can print values of second bottle. Let's run. Let me just print some separators so it will be more clear. Now let's run. So you can see this is the details for first bottle. I have called b1.empty, so it is draining the bottle. ID is 1, bottle type is water bottle, capacity in liter is 2, material is plastic. And this is the second bottle instance. So second bottle instance, I have created b2 and I have called b2.fill. So b2.fill, so it is printing filling the bottle, and then again, sorry, I have to replace this also. Anyways, the logic is same, so it will call filling the bottle only. So filling the bottle, and it has printed details of the bottle. ID is 2, bottle type is cola bottle, capacity in liters 5, material is glass. So this is how you can make use of class and create object using the class. So that was all for this video. In this video, we saw difference between classes and objects, how to create object using classes, how to assign values to variables, and how to call methods using objects. We will go more in depth in the upcoming videos. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you for watching.